Hello everybody, welcome back to Resin Nut. Okay, you know how I have done a couple of frogs, right, in the past. Well, I tried a different type of one, same mold that I did before, but I loved the way this turned out so much that I had to share it with you guys. Okay, so I've mixed up resin. I'm using my J Diction epoxy resin and my normal mold that comes from, you can get it either from Amazon or Temu did carry these. So I'm going to be using just a little bit of my dried flowers, not much, just a little bit in that. I'm going to be using my break apart moss that you can get in the floral section of a craft store, probably on Amazon, or like a model train section, that type of thing. Okay, just any kind of a greenery. I'm also going to be using some of my decals that I got on Amazon a couple of years ago. I noticed that they do still carry these. There's some little lily pads, and these particular ones are translucent background stickers. Okay, and I'm also going to be using for this my little goldfish koi. Okay, there's a couple of different ones, and these are not stickers. These are basically cut out, and it kind of blends in with your resin. I've also got this one that's got some like different little flowers and stuff in it. And I believe that that is what I'm going to be using. Pretty much that's about all I'm going to be using for this project. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and paint my eyes on this from the inside. Not everything turns out great. Doing the painting from the inside, like the bow tie on that little bear I did not turn out well. But I do like the way the eyes turn out on these frogs. So I'm going to go ahead and use my black. This is a Craft Smart acrylic paint pen. It came from Michael's. Okay, and you can get all different kinds of colors. This frog's got like an indented eye. It's pretty easy to get in there and just do the eye. You can get in here at a pretty good angle and really just kind of make a circle because you really can't go too far out of the lines there. Let's see. Okay. There we go. See in there? Just kind of painted the eyes, both sides. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and pour some resin in here. It's clear resin. There's a few micro bubbles, but because I'm doing kind of a fishy type of a thing, I really don't care about the bubbles too much. It doesn't need much. Okay. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out a few of my little fish here. And if anybody's interested in these, I can put the link there in the description for these fish. There's some little lily pads, things like that. I usually just kind of cut around it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It really does kind of disappear in your resin, the clear plastic part. So yeah, these are great. Okay, so I'm going to place this one probably kind of here in the center. Turn it down a bit, just barely kind of under the resin. And I've gone about halfway up. Okay, I poured about halfway up with the resin. And let's see, do a couple others. There's all different kind of sizes and shapes of these. I'm gonna just kind of cut off the excess. I don't want too much of the excess plastic on these little fish. Okay, a little bit doesn't matter. And I try to look to see which way the print is on. And that's the part I'm putting towards the top. Doesn't really matter. They're pretty nice and vibrant, these, okay? See? This little guy here. Oops. See that? I'm going to do these little fish here with the black and orange, kind of a stripe. There we go. I'm going to bring you down now for a closer look, and then I'm going to let this part cure before we do the next step. Okay? All right. I'll bring you down, and then I will see you back here in a bit. Okay, everybody, we're back with our little frog. It is completely cured. Here's our little fish in here. And what I'm going to do now is I've got a cut off water bottle here and some resin made up. And I'm going to go ahead and pour, not too much, just a bit in there. That was probably a little more than an ounce. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a little slight coating over this. Not very full, just enough to cover it. Okay. And I'm going to get it just going kind of all around all the sides. Okay. Give it just a quick squirt of alcohol. I'm going to spray a little alcohol in here. And now I'm going to add a bit more regular resin. Okay, this is just clear. I've left about a quarter of an inch. Oops, kind of going over all the sides, aren't I? I've left about a quarter of an inch of room here. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of my dried flowers and some of my green break apart moss here. Okay, I'm going to put some here into my resin. And when I stir it, it's going to break it up pretty well. Okay, you can see I'm just kind of breaking it up, throwing it in there. And now I want I want to add a little color to this. So I'm going to take a bit of these dried pink things that just came in my thing of dried flowers here. Just going to cut off the little pieces of it. I don't really want the stems. I just want the flowers. So now we've got about this much in there of that. And I'm going to add a little bit of this, some of the orangey yellow color. Stir this up real quick. This gives it kind of a really wet, kind of a mossy look. This is going to be the bottom of our pond. And I wanted some flowers in there. Okay, so now I'm going to add a bit more clear, because I would kind of like this to be a little bit, let's see, did I put too much in there? Maybe just a bit too much. I need to scoop some of that out. I was busy thinking about that I want it to kind of sink down a bit in layers. I want it to still be able to go underneath the chin. Okay. There, I've scooped a bit out now so that I've got room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this another quick spray. I'm going to pour this in. See if you can see this side maybe. Okay. It's that. I'm going to kind of level it out a bit. Do want to get some of this under the chin. These molds are thin enough so that you can kind of see what you're doing down here. Spread it out. Okay. Now I'm going to come up here and just kind of plop some down into these feet. Just want enough to give some color into these arms and feet and legs there. There needs to be a little something in that toe. Okay, there we go. Now here is our frog. Gonna give it a quick spray, and I'm gonna put it over on the curing rack to cure and show you here what we've got. This is what we've got, and yeah, super excited to see it all the way cured and when we can take it out. So when this is done, I will be back and I will see you then. Hello everybody, I'm back. This little frog is completely all cured, and I'm excited to see how our little fish did on the other side. I've got just one little piece here of moss that's kind of poked itself out. I'm going to trim that off real quick. There we go. The rest of it's pretty smooth. Okay, let's get this out of here. I don't know why, I just love doing these frog molds. But yeah, sometimes when you're using these kinds of mosses and things, it can kind of adhere a bit more to your mold. But since I don't use a heat torch ever to pop bubbles, I don't ever have to worry about it sticking to my mold. Yeah, I've never torn a mold yet, except for on the bees when I had a really, really thin mold. I did tear it trying to get it out because it was very tricky to do. Okay, it's getting there, and I've learned on this frog, I do all of the rest and then save the chin for last. I can get it off pretty quickly. Break the seal on everything else. I can spray some water in there if I need to, but may not even need to. Let's see. Yeah, looks like it's going to come right out of there. Not too much trouble on that one. Okay, so here it is. It's actually kind of even pretty this way with the moss and the flowers in there, but let's turn it over and see how we did with the other side. Here it goes. Oh my gosh. Wow. So, okay, so the fish, you can see the fish in here. They're kind of faint, but how cool is this? You see the fish? Are koi and the moss, and look at how the depth, all the depth in here, and some of those flowers just kind of gave it a little extra color. But wow, yeah, that looks really cool. Really cool. We have a fish here in the leg. On some of this, you can see just a little bit of the outline of the clear plastic. If these would have been down a bit more, you may not have been able to see it as much. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think? I really love the way this turned out. Oh my gosh. Super, super fun. Yeah. I'm going to go slow so you can really get a good look here. Kind of up close. The fish. Some of these fish are not quite as opaque as what I was hoping they would be in the frog here. But you can still see them. There's some here. And here. And this one here, I feel like when you turn it just the right way, you can see the plastic cut out in there. And that may be that I had, you know, might be a little bit of fingerprints or something in there. So just kind of be careful with that. But oh gosh, this turned out really cool. Really cool. Love it. Really, really, really love it. Well, gosh, I hope this frog gave you guys some inspiration and gave you just some ideas of what to try if you're still working on your frog mold. And gosh, I've got a whole little lot of frogs now all lined up, but they're just so much fun. Well, I want to just thank you guys all for joining me, and I hope this was fun and kind of an inspiration to you all. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope it was fun and kind of interesting and gives you some ideas to create your own, and I will see you all next time.